Okay, good morning, everyone. Great to see a crowd out here. Today's open meeting procedures will be live streamed on a municipal YouTube channel for members of the public to view. Members of the public are also welcome to attend the meeting in person in the council chamber for the duration of the open session. If you are attending the meeting in person and require accommodations, please reach out to the deputy clerk at dclerk@madawaskavalley.ca or telephone 613-756-2747 extension 212 for this request prior to 3 p.m. the day before the scheduled meeting. Okay, I don't have, oh, there's my gavel. I will now call the meeting to order. At this time, I would like to remind committee members and members of the public in attendance that all committee and council meetings are recorded. Please note that these recordings may capture comments made during the meeting or in breaks or recess or in recesses. Recordings will be available to the public on the municipal YouTube channel for the members to view. The public may also attend the open session of this meeting in person in the municipal council chamber. Please mute all electronic devices during this meeting. Thank you. And now, please rise for the national anthem. Yes, indeed, we will stand strong and free. I will continue here. I'm going to read now the First Nations land acknowledgement. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continuous display of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Now, we're at the moment here of adoption of the agenda. The recommendation is that the regular council meeting agenda for August 19, 2025 be approved as amended to move item 12.3 out of the consent agenda to follow the discussion, for discussion, sorry. So I need a mover, Councillor Blank, and I need a seconder, Councillor Sobolski. Any discussion? None. Seeing none, we will, all in favor? That is carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest here at the table? None. Hearing none. We will continue. I am going to now read the mayor's address, and of course we took the summer off, and it was a busy start to summer. Our annual Canada Day show and events were well attended with perfect weather, and the railway station has been a busy place with music in the park every other Friday and the annual Artisan Festival. We were also lucky to find an astronaut in our backyard, and hear from a longtime seasonal resident, Chris Williams, before he headed to the International Space Station in the fall. I was invited to a special Polish Mass on Sunday, July 11th by the organizers at the chapel in the Pines, also known as Madawaska Valley's Little Poland, where over 1,500 Polish-Canadian patriots attended. Although I did not understand the Mass, which was said in the native Polish language, I was pleased to see the joy on everybody's face as they followed the Mass in their native Polish language. On Thursday, June 26th, I attended the Madawaska Valley High School graduation. Congratulations to all graduates. May they succeed in all their new ventures. On Saturday, June 28th, I was invited by the owner of the Super Dollar Plus to cut the ribbon to officially open their business. In the afternoon, I was invited to help cut the ribbon along with Councillor Blank to another new business, Mad Valley Knits and Notions. On Tuesday, July 29, Councillor Blank joined me for a ribbon cutting ceremony at Little Stedman's. To all the owners of these new businesses, congratulations on your new business ventures. Thank you for investing in our beautiful Madawaska Valley. The strength of our community is in our people and our businesses who drive our economy. I also attended this year's annual CO Blitz. I want to take this opportunity to thank Councillor Micah for taking a leadership role on this in this event that's been going on for a long time. And also congratulations to your team who did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. And there we go. Next thing. Now what we have on the agenda is a delegation. And we have Ray Stanley here present. If Miss Stanley could come to the table here and please put on one of the mics. And this, she's going to speak about council reconsideration to approve internet voting and tabulator system for 2026 municipal election and issues with notification to subscribers and agenda posting August 6, 2025 meeting. It's all yours.
Thank you.
Before you start, could you put on the mic? Because we need, this is all going to get recorded.
I get it, yeah.
And there you go.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, Here we go. First of all, thank you for the two, screens. That's great. That makes such a difference to anyone sitting in the audience. Good morning, Mayor Schulist and Councillors Blank, Poplinski, Micah, and Sobalski. And thank you, firstly, for allowing me to speak today and for delaying ratification of the election method bylaw until September, giving the public more time to respond. Most people that I've talked to, they go, I didn't know this was happening, so that's great. And people are starting to get the word. And I have a letter this week in the Eganville Leader on this, and people are commenting and grateful to be informed. It'll be basically 6 short sections. If you could tell me, like at the 5-minute mark, that would be somebody. First, an introduction. What's at stake? Are electronic systems secure? What is the evidence? A comparison with hand-counted systems, our traditional system. 5, why would municipal elections be targeted for interference? What's the goal? And 6, a conclusion and a plea to you. Okay, I am focusing and bearing witness for future generations today on your actions concerning one of ultimate importance, securing a free and fair election for the people of Madawaska Valley Township now and in the future. I've written you as a council collectively and some individually. And have a letter in the Leader this week, and I'll continue informing people through a petition. And we've got well over 100 signatures now, but we have time to continue to increase awareness and support. You are dealing with the most important and fundamental issue you will ever face in this council, the security of the election. And if you get this wrong, nothing else matters. We are not a country, as we sing in Old Canada, strong and free, no longer. I believe it would be difficult, if not impossible, to overstate the danger to our municipal democracy if you implement electronic voting and tabulating. I'm talking about both. When I say systems, I mean the voting and the tabulating, both ends. Councillor Poplinski nailed it, the gravity and import of potential electronic election corruption at the last meeting when he said at the 5-hour, 15-minute mark of the meeting, and he was speaking of election integrity, to quote, "It's the very fundamental right, and there are wars fought all over the world over this. Once you lose your ability to have an honest vote, if somebody can sit in a box and manipulate all the numbers, which they can," and then he left it there, but basically you've lost your democracy. And you must resort to force. He says wars are fought to regain freedom. Of note, and for the record, it is inconceivable that this was pushed through at your August 6th meeting at the end of a 6-hour session, along with decisions on multiple other items of business concerning election methods. This fundamental issue was lumped in and obscured with concerns about how many polling stations there should be, how long and when early voting should occur, or whether we should have internet and phone voting, or how to manage the voters list. Important as these concerns are, they're ordinary business, and election interference is of another order of magnitude altogether. The issue of potential election interference must be brought to the light and dealt with extensively and soberly. They're doing it all over the world. You know, as one of your constituents wrote to you and shared with me, it is important enough it should be handled by the whole community through a referendum. What is at stake? Councillor Cybulski and Councillor Poplinski again nailed it when they said about electronic voting and tabulating. Do we want to become like Russia, Iran, Venezuela? Both of them said that. Lights go on. All totalitarian states. I assert that this innovation will open us up to the possibility of vote tampering and delegitimize election results. That is what enables totalitarianism. The Soviet Union had elections. The arch totalitarian Joseph Stalin said something like, "It's not how people vote that counts, but who counts the votes." It is crucial that we implement the safest, most secure voting and tabulating methods possible. What's at stake? Everything is at stake. A look at evidence of the security of electronic methods. Firstly, a study on the benefits and drawbacks of remote voting and automated counting equipment by the European Commission, done by the Directorate General for Justice and Consumerism. I have the reference on page 22. It reports that the majority of countries in the European Union have disallowed and removed electronic voting and counting due to usability, fraud, secrecy, and security issues, including coercion. This is the experience of a whole continent. Maybe we should look back, look at the evidence that it's safe. The whole continent has tried it and said it's open to fraud, security issues. Secondly, the witness of experts in electronic systems who are not invested in the system and muzzled, the whistleblowers, their testimony is chilling. Look at the testimony and experience of Edward Snowden and Julian Assange. Councillor Poplinski, at the 5-hour, 14-minute mark, speaks of his son, who's a computer engineering, saying, it's so secret, they're sworn to secret. But generally speaking, Ernie said, there's more manipulation going on than I think you realize. He says, and he couldn't reveal this, but what his son revealed to him confidentially is chilling. Thirdly, what's your experience of electronic mediums? Councillor Poplinski, Sobolski talked about daily experience of concerns with internet fraud. Are we not constantly hearing about and possibly experiencing fraud, security breaches, hacking of personal data, etc.? I even have a friend dealing with identity theft. Are we not constantly beefing up our own internet security? Look at how long and complex our passwords have to be now for security reasons, and two-step verification, and facing more complex security when assessing services than we used to. Any program can be hacked. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly, what's your experience in recourse for these security violations? There's generally no way to, sorry, I'm going to have a little longer. There's generally no way to get recourse for this, even detect interference or recourse, or way to address the corruption of malicious actors and hold a party responsible. It's all hidden in the anonymous electronic Netherland, as we know from personal experience. You know, BLR, Brudenell Lindot, they had a hack, a security issue. The hospital had a cyber attack. Even the Canadian Revenue Agency has been hacked several times. Basically, with the electronic systems, we lose control of the process, and we must, in blind faith, trust middleman and the integrity of the system, which doesn't have any integrity. A comparison with hand-counted paper ballots. In stark contrast, with the concrete system of hand-counted paper ballots, we have control of the process. There's accountability and recourse and a way to verify results. Physically recount the ballots. It is contained and material. It has been said that the advantage of this great leap into faith to a known corruptible entity with electronic systems over the paper ballot, it enables more people to vote. But if there's avenues for manipulation and the vote of corruption, the vote is corrupted, what does that mean? It's more efficient. Who cares if it's faster? And I don't think it is. People say, oh, usually they're done in 2 hours. 5,000 people. It can produce a corrupted result. It's more economical, not significant. If it nullifies the integrity of the election, it's cheaper to have a corrupt election than an ethical one. That's really money well spent. This is like straining out procedural gnats, but swallowing the camel of a corrupted election. However, even hand-counted paper ballots seem to be growing lax. People are just cynical about elections generally. I've heard many people report irregularities which should be addressed, and scrutineers should be re-engaged. Communities should be involved. Undoubtedly, people are growing cynical about voting, period, since electronic methods have been employed. You often, and you never used to, hear people now say about the results of an election, it's probably rigged, as they used to say in the Soviet Union during communism. And how many stories are there about election interference, usually from Russia or China? There's a horrible shift in confidence in elections since electronic methods, reminiscent of totalitarian systems. And many people are not even bothering to vote in what they perceive as corrupted. The public must be given new confidence in the integrity of the process they had in the past, with simple, accountable, hand-counting voting methods in which they could participate. Re-engaging scrutineers would be a great step towards this. Okay, and I addressed in my letter, yeah, we have to address special needs like people with mobility issues or mail-in votes. Yeah, we have to address that. But why would municipalities be targeted for interference? Well, the question of why would anyone be interested in sabotaging local control of a little municipality like Madawaska Valley Township? We kind of think we're off the radar, but they're the municipality. You are the last line of defense in protecting private property rights. That's the jurisdiction of municipalities. And as we know, the one world order being rolled out must have control of private property if their goal of you will own nothing and be happy can be realized. A look at, oh, I'm not even going to say that. If we have good elected officials who know how to protect the rights of citizens they represent, they can be a line of defense. You are the last line of defense. But if outside interests have sway, they can make sure this doesn't happen. Conclusion and a plea. Please do not treat this like any order of business. It is anything but. And brush it off with, as experts say, and others are doing, we have to dive into technology. Why in God's name? This is a big deal. Please don't jump on the bandwagon for a 5% group discount, like lemmings rushing with the pack to jump over the electronic cliff. I believe it is delusional to think we could have a secure election, especially in the future with electronic systems in place. Anything can be hacked. There is a prevailing sense of the inevitability in going electronic. But this is not true. The mayor even said, Mayor Schulist, change is inevitable. We must dive into technology. Of course, change is inevitable, but not all innovations must be embraced as improvement. We have the responsibility, you have the responsibility to choose what change is beneficial and or detrimental. And in this case, dangerous. We have this idea it's new is always beneficial. That's a prejudice. It's ageism. It could be traditionalism. No, change is not always. Look at the world. It's gone through lots of changes. Do your children have, a better life? Are all these changes beneficial? There's no reason that this council cannot just decide to simply continue and improve the time-proven, simple, reliable methods that have served the community safely for generations. As I've said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Someone said concerning the sense of the inevitability of technology, nothing is inevitable if people are able to face the truth. A number of you, the majority in fact, have alluded to the dangerous nature of electronic election methods. You all admitted that the medium is vulnerable to fraud and said you have experienced. So the majority of you have recognized the reality of the corruptibility of electronic methods, and you have faced the truth. A lot of people don't have a clue. This is incredible. You actually know it's true, but you haven't been able to translate this into concrete action. Why this hesitation? Why did you vote for it? For the sake of the future of our township, you must take back the election process and not ratify this proposed bylaw. You must remove from our community all forms of electronic systems where they serve us great, but for voting and tabulating in the 2026 election that can be tampered with and corrupt the elections process, and concentrate on making simple, containable, verifiable, hand-counted paper ballot system as secure and accessible as possible. There's a new god of progress and technology posing as all-powerful and knocking on your doors. But it is a false god, a Trojan horse. I truly believe if you ratify this bylaw, opening up election process to the corruption of malicious actors, which even the Canadian Revenue Agency has no defense against. It will be game over for municipal autonomy, and you might as well pack it up and go home. If you don't, the Strong Mayors Act doesn't get you, and the Municipal Accountability Act doesn't get you. Well, they've got this that can get you.
50, you had your 15 minutes, but I will give you extra. I don't know. Is there
Thank
much
you.
more?
No, very little
Okay.
more.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you have the power to reject this given to you by your constituents for us and future generations. In the name of God, use it and do not ratify this bylaw. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Well done. Thank you very much for the input and all that. It's something that we can use in our future discussion and so on. So thank you very much for coming out. Yes, Madam CEO.
Through the chair, I did receive, because as part of the delegation, I did receive a few emails that were forwarded to council.
Okay.
And if you want, I can read those on.
Please do so.
Just because I don't have permission to say who sent them, I will just read the content because it did identify the subject matter against the bylaw. I am absolutely 100% against you changing to electronic voting. I also object to the way you have handled this. Electronic voting should be important enough that there is a referendum for the local citizens. Were there any problems with manual voting all these years? No. If it works, don't fix it. The chaos that we have seen in the U.S. electoral system, the infiltration of China in our nation with Chinese police stations, their inference in federal and provincial politics should make one shudder. Let us keep our local politics as untouched by the danger for mischief as we possibly can. A second one, I was dismayed to discover that the August 6th agenda was not emailed with adequate notice for constituents, included the topic of electronic voting and tabulation. I had attended the first meeting on this topic and was watching the proposed meeting agendas so as to attend all sessions regarding this particular topic. I am convinced that ratifying the use of electronic voting and tabulation will spell the end of democracy in our election in Madawaska Valley Township. There is too much room for error, manipulation in such systems, and many areas of Europe have ceased using such systems due to the myriad of issues with them. Please do not allow this to happen in our township. Third email was, respected members of the Council of Madawaska Valley, it has come to my attention that the Council wishes to ratify electronic voting for municipal elections. I strongly oppose this impending decision. Electronic voting, in its essence, delivers the control of election results to the machine and the person who controls it. This practice allows for mistakes to be made in tabulating the votes without identifying any individual. Elections may be readily manipulated to our detriment. Further, electronic voting is impersonal and discriminates against those who are not computer savvy. I am sure there are numerous eligible voters in our area who are not comfortable using electronic devices, even if a tutor were available at the polling station. Innovation is not necessarily improvement. I very much oppose any initiative by the Council to implement electronic voting, particularly the use of Dominion machines. Thank you for considering the views of the constituents. And the last one, please pass on this message to Council. Please do not ratify the digital voting. Dialogue and transparency would be appreciated. Thanks in advance.
All right. I think we've heard your point, and we're going to take all this into consideration and then go from there. That's all we can do. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, we've got... We have the confirmations of the minutes. We have the recommendation that the public meeting minutes of August 6th, 2025 be approved as presented. That is found on pages 9 to 11.
Could you also note how many people showed up for this issue?
Sorry, through the chair, there's a sign-in sheet that gets attached to the agenda, which is why we requested that everyone sign in when they came in. Thank you.
Okay, so the recommendation is that we approve it as presented. I would like a mover. Moved by Councillor Blank, seconded by Councillor Micah. Any errors or omissions? And if not, all in favor? Okay, that is carried. We also have a council and committee meeting minutes of August 6th, and the recommendation that council and committee meetings minutes for August 6, 2025 be approved as presented. I need a mover. Councillor Poplinski moves it. Councillor Micah seconds it. Any errors or omissions? If not, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, any business arising from the minutes? Okay, seeing none, I'll continue. Under municipal reports, yes, go ahead, sir.
Yes, David, we're still dealing with the council minutes in committee. Is that the one we're dealing with?
We were
August the 6th?
yes, on August 6th, yes.
Actually, I had a question during that meeting regarding the vandalism,
Right?
and we were instructed that the OPP were dealing with it. Has there been any fallout or have we heard anything about this?
Madam CEO.
If I may, through the chair, the request at the table was that Public Works, when they do bring up their September committee update,
Okay.
will keep council briefed on any updates that we get from the OPP and or anything resulting from the
Excellent.
vandalism.
Thank you.
Okay, that was under business arising from minutes. Any other business arising from the minutes?
And note through the chair, I'll just ask that Calvin maybe text Hillary. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, under municipal reports. We have here, maybe, if, is Hillary around? Is that his report, right? Or
Yeah.
can you speak on his behalf?
Actually, Hillary said he wanted to speak to it, so we'll just,
We can go to the next one maybe
Yeah, if you
until
don't
he,
sure.
okay.
Great.
Now, the next one here is found on page 37 to 50. It is a zoning bylaw. Found on page 37 to 50.
And I believe that we have Janine on
And
record for
Janine
that.
can maybe speak on that then. Just give me a second. Yes, Janine, are you ready?
I am, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, if you don't mind letting us know about this, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good morning, Council. Through the chair, the application before you is an application for zoning bylaw amendment, which was previously deferred. The application has been submitted by property owner Rakib Talukder for the property municipally known as 19648 Opeongo Line. The application seeks to rezone the subject lands from commercial to residential 2, exception 9, to permit the conversion of the existing mixed-use building on the property to a 4-unit dwelling, and to reduce the front yard depth from 7.5 meters to 1.5 meters. The subject lands are approximately 0.12 hectares in area, with 27 meters of frontage along Opeongo Line. The existing building on the property is 2 stories in height and contains a commercial retail space on the ground floor and a residential apartment on the second floor. The building is approximately 368 square meters in area and is located in the village of Barry's Bay and is fully serviced by municipal water and sewer. The application was originally brought forward to a statutory public meeting on September 21st, 2021, at which time the County of Renfrew staff expressed concerns relating to access, parking requirements, and a deck structure, which at the time was located within the required side yard setback. Specifically, the previous planning report, which is attached to, the previous planning report is attached to this report for Council's review. Specifically, the concerns expressed related to the fact that a minimum of 6 parking spaces would be required to permit the proposed new residential units, and that all of the parking spaces should be located at the rear of the property, whereas previously some of the spaces were located towards the front of the property. There were comments as well about showing the dimensions of all parking spaces to ensure they met the requirements of the zoning bylaw, and lastly, to ensure that proper access to the rear of the property was available for future occupants of the building. The application was deferred as a result of staff concerns and was directed to be brought back to council once the above items were addressed. So in the meantime, the owner has provided staff with an updated site plan to address the concerns related to parking, as well as now showing on the site plan showing a paved driveway towards the rear of the property, and as well as the location and dimensions of each parking space and the number of parking spaces provided. I'd like to point out to council that the site plan currently shows the minimum number of parking spaces that is to be provided, which will be 6. However, in speaking to the owner, the paved parking area can actually fit up to 8 vehicles. In order to locate the parking spaces within the rear of the property, the owner had to seek an easement over Rock Lane, with the adjacent property legally described as Part Lot 179, Range B, North Sherwood, as Rock Lane is a private road. The easement was granted in May 2023 and was registered on title to the subject lands in June of 2025. Lastly, staff can confirm that the attached deck was reconstructed in 2021 and has been reduced in size to meet the required interior side yard setback of 3 meters. A photograph of the reconstructed deck is attached to this report for council's review. I'll also mention as well that once the zoning is finalized, the property owner may apply for the building permit to change the use of the building from commercial to residential. So to conclude, given that all previous staff comments on the subject application have been addressed, staff are recommending approval of zone amendment application ZA 2019-25. A bylaw for this zone amendment has been prepared for council's consideration under item 13.7, and staff are recommending that council approve the bylaw at today's meeting. That is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Janine. It was a pleasure meeting you in person on Friday.
It was a
Anyway,
pleasure meeting you as well, Mayor. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great report. Now, has anybody got any questions at the table here on this matter? Yes, Councillor Blank.
Just to make sure that all the things have been addressed, and you stated that, and the building permit is forthcoming. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Council.
Okay. Yes, Councillor Micah?
So, so the front yard depth from 7.5 to 1.5 meters. So that is currently where people would be parking now. Why does that need to be reduced to 1.5 meters? The building doesn't encroach, like currently where the existing building sits. Does it meet the 7.5 meter setback?
Through the chair, no, it doesn't. So that setback is being reduced because that is where the building is right now. It is 1.5 meters to the front property line.
Okay,
yes.
that thank you. That answered my question. I wasn't sure if we were talking about putting on an addition to the front of the building and pushing it closer to the highway.
No. That is just where the sits.
Okay, thank
currently,
you.
yes.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, anybody else? Seeing none, thank you very much, Janine. You have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Have a great day, everyone.
Okay. So the recommendation is that the council receive and approve this report for zoning bylaw amendment ZA 219-25 as information. We don't have to do a move or anything,
No, through the chair. This was just because it had been held in abeyance, like it had been deferred, and we have new council members at the table. Janine and Andy felt it was important to provide you with the original submission, the original application, what the conditions were, so that you are satisfied in approving that we've met all of the conditions as you approve the bylaw at the end of the meeting.
Okay, very good. Okay, we're going to move on now. We have Hillary here. Hillary, if you can come to the table. And this is about the civic addressing reporting regarding island properties, burnt island water access. It's all yours.
Through you, Chair, good morning. So I've had a request to review the civic addressing on islands. It's a new type of civic addressing request for this township. This will be the first one, but other municipalities have enacted this. And it serves no purpose that I'm aware of, but it gives a number and they plant it in front of their dock or wherever they're joined to the water on the island. And it's more of a postal thing, I believe. So they're allowed to get a post office box. It's a formality that somehow exists within the system. So I worked in conjunction with the county on this, and they devised a virtual road on paper around the island, and they linear measure it, and that's how they come up with a number. And the numbers are very large to not dispute that it is an island. They're in the 5,000s, and then they add the linear measurement to 5,000. That's how they come up with. The picture does no justice for you. If you want to see it on my computer, feel free to drop in, and it shows the whole. I can bring it up large, and everyone's pre-populated with a number. So this will be when added in when someone comes for a request through application process, they will be assigned a number. I had this farm letter, and I fixed it up with our logo, of course, and this will be given to each applicant. It does not signify response, more or less, our emergency response, no firefighting capabilities on the island, obviously, maybe in the winter, but I doubt it. It doesn't happen, and that's all it serves that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions for Hillary? No? Thank you very much.
And
Great
so
report.
it'll be in the paper
Okay.
forthcoming. You have to give notice in the paper that we're adding a name to our civic addressing database. It'll be called Burnt Island Water Access.
Okay.
And then we missed the window for August. I think you have to have it in the paper 20 days.
Okay.
And then middle of September, whenever that meeting should be, there'll be a bylaw come in, and it'll have the addition of Burnt Island Water Access
Okay.
in a bylaw.
Very good. And Councillor Sobolski.
Number one, is there a cost to the municipality?
No, because it'll be on application, and it'll be $200 per application.
Okay.
It's in-
Number two, this is a postal issue. And they're in debt, millions, well, it's coming to billions of dollars. What is the problem that they can't?
What is mic on, please?
Hold on. What's the problem that they can't issue a postal box number? I had a postal box number for many years without an address in Barry's Bay.
but
we
it-
didn't have
yeah.
civic numbers.
Was it linked after civic addressing? I think it was 1998. They require a civic number. That's what they keep harping on. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Okay, Hillary.
Yeah.
Now, number three, future councils, are they going to be held responsible for, say, a structure fire? I know some of the large lakes in the Muskoka do have fire suppression on the water, like Lake Joseph, Rosso Lake, and Muskoka Lake. And these are cottages that pay, taxes in the tens of thousands of dollars. We don't have that luxury. And is there any chance that future councils can be held responsible for a structure burning?
Yeah, there is definitely a concern, Madam CEO.
Our fire services bylaw outlines the services that we do. So a future council will have to decide that they go beyond a surround, I forget what the terminology is, we just do surround and drown. We don't do water rescue, we don't do any of that. So the fact that this is an island, it's around water, we do not do any water rescues or anything, so just surround and drown. So it would have to be outlined in the fire services bylaw that we change the services, is my assumption.
Okay, number four. Will they want a causeway to the island at some time?
That would be virtually impossible.
Yeah, I know.
I believe.
But, we have delegations.
That's
And
great.
I'm just thinking down the road. I wouldn't like the municipality to be, requesting further delegations or meeting further delegations for further services. That's all. But
I believe the safeguards are in place. They
That's
will
good.
get this farm letter. But you know.
Yeah, make sure the safeguards are strong.
Okay, any other question, Councillor Micah?
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of my questions is if you're living on an island, it's a seasonal residence, so why would you need a permanent mailing address here? But, you know, maybe you go to Florida for the winter and you're here for the summer, so I understand that, for sure. I think, though, what we may want to consider, because I'm not opposed to it, but again, I agree with what Councillor Cebulski is saying. I've seen evolution over the years here, and political pressure being put on, and we're going to get into, we can't afford, I'm sorry, I hate to say the truth, but it's the truth. There's issues with Mask Island right now. That's a private island, and there are people that are paying a lot of money in taxes, and they are starting to demand, they want more service. Well, it is what it is. You built and you're living on what you chose to live on, which was a private island. And there's more than one island here with buildings and cottages on them. So I think as part of this, constructing a bylaw to go with this, not relying on our fire bylaw says we only surround and drown. I think we need to point out to this, because if these are zoned limited, I don't know what they're zoned. These properties, one would think, would be zoned limited service. I'm not sure that one would think. But I think with regards to civic addressing on all islands across the township, that a bylaw state that there will be no fire services provided, because this has already come up a few times. We can't afford to expand the fire services here. We're not getting into water rescue. We're not buying boats. We're not buying helicopters. We're not doing any of this stuff. It's unrealistic. So I think we need to address those issues in regards to this. So yes, absolutely issue an address, but have a bylaw, an actual bylaw, not a policy, but an actual bylaw attached that states this, you will get an address, but here's what here's what's not happening. No causeways built, no bridges built, no fire rescue, which is exactly what it is now. So it's not like anything's being taken away. It's just clarifying and keeping expectations in line. And I think that would be wise on our part, so that we're not getting into, well, we have a bylaw for this over here and here and here and here. This is quite specific and new. So doing it right from the start might be the wise way to go about that. And that can be done fairly quickly. we don't have to hold this process up by 6 months by any means. I think we could get a bylaw written that takes into account the concerns and have it come back to the next council meeting or committee and council and pass it if it's reasonable, if anybody else is interested in that.
Hillary?
But wouldn't it serve it to have a excerpt in the road naming bylaw or whatever you want to call it, excerpt in there, or you would like to see a standalone bylaw?
Yes, exclusive to civic addressing on islands.
Yeah, I'd have to research that one from other municipalities on how they do that.
And I mean, wording could be transferred, we would pull wording from our existing fire bylaw, clearly, but it would identify specifically. Because if these are going to become permanent residences and more of them, we're going to face problems down the road.
Yeah. Councillor Cebulski.
My gut feeling is don't rush this one through. Somebody will call in on their cell phone. I'm at number 162838 on Burnt Island. Please help. Who's going to respond? I can see that scenario, and we're going to get into more and more trouble. What I would like to see is Canada Post being involved in this. I don't understand why they can't issue a box number. And I think we should communicate with Canada Post and find out what's the problem before we move along on this one. I would not support this at all at this time. We don't have enough information as a council, and I would like that question answered before anything further is done. I certainly wouldn't rush on this one. If it's done this year, next year, the year after, it really doesn't matter. They've survived for how long on that island, Hillary? 80 years now?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah. And they can survive a little while longer.
Exactly. Councillor Poplinski.
Yes, I totally concur with Councillor Sabulski. I think that, I don't think we should be making a rush judgment on that. I did have another question, and that was, you mentioned Mask Island, the causeway, is that not part of our road system?
Across the island, correct.
Yes.
Yeah. It
So
is.
wouldn't it have a different issue there?
Yes, it is joined by land.
Yeah, so
that's
we
the
have
difference.
I'm not really referencing, there's other issues.
No,
Yeah.
no, okay.
Yeah.
No, so we may have some
Just at the
situations
causeway,
where.
at the bottom of the
Yeah.
hill of the causeway, that's it, and then it's.
No, I
everything
think
else is
there are at
private.
least 2 or 3 on the island in Blackfish Bay. I don't know how you could possibly provide any service there when those people are there. So that would be another one probably would come into play. Just mention that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the scenario is a little different from an island that you have to actually get over on water instead of being connected by land. It's a different situation. But there's a good discussion here, absolutely. And Councillor Blank?
Thank you to the chair. Thank you, Hillary, and for the information. Regarding the 911 calls, if somebody calls 911, it goes to all the departments. They ask, what do you want? And it's usually fire, paramedics, or police.
Correct.
And all will respond. So the police would respond more so than we would have to as a fire department in a township. That is provincial. Also, the current Canada Post, they've been advertising for the last few years, and maybe some of you have had your mail not delivered to your house because it just has your post office box number, not your civic address. And they've been telling us for the last couple of years that they need a civic address or your mail won't get to you. So that is a policy that they have incorporated, and trying to ask them any other information probably would not get you anywhere, because I did ask them when this first started locally. I went up and they said, no, that's the Canada Post policy, so period. So it's just a dead end when it comes to that. I think we need to go ahead and start some civic addresses, because I think it's an important thing to know for our tax base where we are and what we are and who we have. And so I would support this now. Thank you.
Okay, so I don't know, getting consensus here. Some are saying no, they're not going to. Councillor Micah?
Well, just to address the tax issue, these people have been paying taxes all along, Mary, so it's not going to impact us in that sense. And I'm not opposed to giving an address. What I'm trying to say is, let's put the checks and balances in with a bylaw. We're saying right now of a new name into a civic address bylaw. So maybe it's the civic address bylaw we revise. And in that can be a section within that directly states, if you are on an unaccessible island, no roads, no bridges, no causeways, this addressing is for Canada Post mailing purposes only. Please note, I mean, worded or whereas or therefore or however we want to put the fancy wording, but, this does not connotate that you will receive fire services and then reference the fire bylaw. We do not do water rescue. We do not do, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's where I'm going with this. I don't want to hold it up, get them a civic address, but again, before we pass it, I don't care what we do. We can rescind and revise our current civic addressing bylaw and put it right in there so it's under one spot, but reference our others. And the same thing with roads, no maintenance. I mean, Hillary, in the last month we've had 2 requests come in that they want the township to do maintenance on an unmaintained closed road allowance. It's no different. You know what I'm saying? So these things are starting to happen in this municipality that did not happen 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. So I think we just behooves us to just make sure that what we're doing here, we're not going to catch somebody else down the road in 3, 5, 6 years. a council down the road.
Yeah, exactly, Madam CEO.
So just on a couple points, as it pertains to Canada Post, Hillary was asked by finance because of the repeated requests coming from ratepayers having an issue with Canada Post. I would urge that we proceed with the notification that we do have civic addressing. I concur that a bylaw strengthening what civic addressing means and what that cost is and relate like what services they get or not get. It will also assist with building permits. Then you're not just relying on the lot concession of those building permits. You actually have a civic address that you'd be able to link to that as well. But I've taken on as an action item. And I have looked at a couple of bylaws while you're talking to see if there's any areas that have similar bylaws, how they've amended their civic addressing bylaw to reflect how it's addressed. I had actually spoken to Hillary about does it necessitate kind of like a map that shows this is the area, and you get it like with your civic addressing, where is 173 on that kind of thing. So we will follow through with that, but I do urge you, because of the notification, 20 days, and we will end up with having to put it in. I can like.
Yes, Councillor Michael.
So if we were to go ahead, because we do have to have 20 days, but that gives us 20 days
Yes.
to
Bring a
amend
bylaw.
the current bylaw to include this information.
Yes.
And then bring it back and pass it. So,
Yeah.
and you know, Dr. Cebulski, or excuse me, Councillor Cebulski's correct. Some of these have been there 80 years. So 3 weeks isn't going to, you know, break anybody's bank. I think we should include as well that they are responsible for putting their own 911 sign up. We're not going to rent a boat and go and, you know, bang a post in the ground. And maybe within there where that sign needs to be, you know, waterfront, because if anybody is going, you're going by water. So,
Good.
you know, visible from the shoreline,
No, it's,
whatever.
whatever, yeah, so, Councillor Cebulski.
I would still like to hear from Canada Post. Once they're able to get a box number, will that mean they'll also deliver the mail to the islands? Maybe that's what the residents want. I don't know.
Right.
I would certainly like to hear from Canada Post what the issue is. Will they then deliver the mail to that number if they have a civic number?
Through the chair, it's my understanding that then they can get a box at Canada Post here.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
But
Internal.
I hear what you're
could they
saying.
not get a box without a civic number on an island? Why
No,
not?
we have correspondence saying that they require that. Not saying agree or disagree, just that's what, and it's a struggle for taxation because they're the ones that are getting the requests as well, and we can't do anything until this is in place.
Okay.
Okay, I think we've,
Good.
yeah, I think what we need to do here, what I'm getting consensus at the table here is maybe get this bylaw together and present it to us, and we can have more discussion on this matter, but if you don't mind, staff, if you could go and put something together and then we'll go from there.
Will do.
So just for clarity, through the chair, just for clarity, Hillary's to proceed with the notification, get that
Oh, yeah,
going.
that's right, yeah, okay.
And then we will bring a report back with all of that, with the changes, with a draft bylaw for review before passing at the regular council meeting.
Yes, I'm fine with that. I'll move that if you want.
I don't need, no, I
We
think
don't
it's just
yeah,
action. is-
it's just action thing, yeah, so, okay, that's in staff's hands, thank you very much.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Put that aside. Okay, now, pages 51 to 65. Oop, I'm going the wrong way here. There it is, okay. This one here is a mayor's report. Okay, at county council, there was a presentation by the Renfrew County District School Board, and they're initiating an outdoor learning project. I'm sure everybody has read about it. This is what we here, and they're asking for a request. And again, there's no cost to any of the municipalities. 17 municipalities heard this presentation, and they did have a letter sort of put together, and then they want support from each municipality. I don't see a problem. All 17 councilors at county thinks it's a great idea. Like I said, there's no cost to us and all that. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on this. Yes, Councillor Blank.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of questions. If approved and it starts and begins through this project, how will it impact our township of the Madawaska Valley schools? Will we have one within our area? Because my main concern is we are the furthest away, one of the most deepest ones in the forest land, and something like this is a benefit to those in the school system so they can learn and hear actual more natural stuff right here in the community. So I would want to see, like, they're putting it in Petawawa or putting it in Renfrew or putting it in Arnprior is not going to be a benefit to our local area. And I think we need to look at that because of the heavy impact it does to our community, especially with our lumbering and transportation and everything else. So that is my question. I think it's a great idea, and I think we need to educate. Thank you.
All schools, like they were talking about, all schools are can get involved in this here, so it'll be up to the schools if they want to be part of the program. And again, it's not initiated by municipalities, by the school board, but all schools throughout the county are definitely going to be able to apply for this. Yes.
Just clarification, I believe it was public schools, correct?
It's public schools.
Yes.
Yes, public schools, and we have one exactly. I know Kildoon, every municipality, but they also had brought up, a lot of the councillors there, is that they want they're asking the Renfrew County School Board to include all the Catholic school boards also, and the person that did the presentation had no problem whatsoever. So actually, all the schools will be a part of this thing here.
Sorry, David.
Yeah, go ahead.
So George Vanier down in Cumbermere, being Catholic,
Yeah,
they did this on their own during COVID.
right.
Quasi, not landscaped and grants and stuff, but they brought in whiteboards outside. They've got picnic tables, and they had benches built. I'm assuming parents donated, built and ever. So they've already kind of got on board with this along, and I think it's a wonderful idea. Why shouldn't the kids be outside? The weather's nice.
No,
Looking
exactly.
at something other than a computer screen.
You can learn something from outside. I mean, it was all
great.
positive and all that. So, anyway, I'm urging council to support the initiative by passing a resolution in support of this initiative and that. And so the recommendation in committee approved council to grant approval for the mayor to sign a letter of intent in support of the Canadian Renature school program on behalf of the municipality. So this is moved by Councillor Blank. Councillor Micah seconds it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, Madam CEO, you put the letter together, and once I sign it, then it's off to them, and so we'll go from there. Okay. So the next thing, is there anything else I'm missing?
Yes, through the chair, I had added a verbal update on the OPP policing board. I believe there had been a meeting on that, and we said we would
Yes.
update council.
Yeah, again, besides all the school stuff, okay. And there's a verbal update on OPP policing board. We had our first meeting there last week, I guess it was, and we ended up. It was vague at first because we had to assign people as a chair and vice chair. So Maureen McMillan, councillor Maureen for Killaloe, is going to be chair, and Merv Budrick of Township, North Algona, is going to be the vice chair. There again, we're going to have a meeting in November. So every 4 months we're going to have a meeting. So the foundation has been set here. There will be some reports coming in from the OPP. Staff Sergeant Dara was there, And so they're going to, like I said, we're hoping this is going to work as a liaison between municipalities and also the police force and so on. One thing they had mentioned too is that if municipalities want an alternative, right? Yeah, did you get that message too? It's yeah, Madam CEO, go ahead.
Yeah, so if I may, so following writing of this report, so there were two requests. One is that it's recommended, and it came from your meeting, that each municipality appoint an alternate to attend meetings in absence of yourself. And that individual will be asked to take the online training as you did and do a vulnerable police volunteer check. And so we would require a resolution appointing somebody as your alternate for the purpose of that meeting.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody is interested at this table to do it. Maybe Councillor Poplinski, would you be interested in? Like I said, sometimes I wouldn't be able to make it, but you could do it. The training is online. It's a long process, no question about it, but it's pretty basic, right? So, Councillor Poplinski.
As you know, I've served in the past previous as the liaison with that committee. So I've been very involved in, of course, in all the white papers that came down. I had many discussions with the manager of down at the in the office in Toronto regarding this, and had received a lot of information. My question, actually, first, Mr. Mayor, was that the appointment of members and what is the expectation now as far as the township is concerned? Do we have one or two, or do we have any on that board as appointees?
Yeah, well, there is, I think, 6 municipalities that are involved, and each one has a representative.
One each?
One each.
Okay.
But
And
what
what's-
we're talking about here is an alternate. Let's say if I can't make
Yes,
it, that's
totally
that's it.
understand
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
First of all, if I could get back to your question, yes, I'd be more than happy to do that. But what concerns me most of all is the cost to the taxpayers, because there was suggested in a lot of the material that I read that it would be up to the 2 municipalities to pay those people. Was there any sort of rate of pay, maybe?
That would be up to the municipality. But Madam CEO, if you could.
Yeah, so if I may, each municipality pays their members as they do now. So our council is paid by honorarium.
Okay.
If there's extra meetings, they're paid for, other townships have per meeting, so they would be paid their per meeting rate. They qualify for the mileage for attending those meetings. So that hasn't changed. It just is part of our council expenses. I believe they're hoping to have 3 or 4 a year, so we don't expect it to be very much. They had provided us, we have a quote as to what our share of the insurance for this board will be, and it's a little over $700 a year. To do that, it has been administered through Bonashare Valley. We were just invoiced for our share for this year. And then the annual training that you have to do online is at no cost. The cost that will be borne, and it will be shared amongst the members, is for the provincial member that needs to sit. And following the writing of this report, I did receive an email asking each municipality to advertise the posting and the link to the applications for consideration to stand as a detachment board provincial rep. Each group has to have a provincial rep.
If I may interject, so you're reading from a report which you've received?
No, I just received an email saying, could you please put this on your website?
But the criteria is obviously very important.
There is a terms of reference that would be passed along to the alternate that will sit in the chair.
Is it possible for us, the council, to have that information?
Absolutely.
Because we'll be making it, will we be making the selection for the person that we want to?
The board will.
Oh, the board will.
That board will.
Yeah.
be
So
selecting
somebody-
that person.
So you can propose someone from our area, because I don't want to have Black Lives Matter on every board, and I don't want to have, I'm sorry to say that, but there's many groups out there that are involved in a lot of social re-engineering in this world that would, and I know from the experience on the board in Ottawa, they would have, when it was set up in the old fashion, they had as many as 21 delegations from different people that wanted something different. And so we get to pick the person, or hopefully we'll have a say in it, if we have to pay that person as part of the ones supposedly that are being picked by the province, because they're going to have people on that board as well. Have they picked those people at all, Mr. Mayor?
No, not yet.
No. Okay, so that's still to happen. And the representative then from each municipality will also be picked?
No, through the chair. We'd already selected Mayor Schulist. And the reason Mayor Schulist decided to keep that appointment, when he was the councillor, he went through all of the training.
Right.
So we didn't want to have the training like happen all over
Okay,
again. So if you wish to leave your name in for consideration for an alternate, then you would receive the terms of reference and you'll receive the links to do all of that training online, and you can do that at your leisure at home.
Yeah, I would like very much if I could have a copy of because getting back to, they had in the white paper that was presented to us several years ago, and there were some stipulations who could be picked and who could not be picked. And I found it interesting that no former member of the OPP could be a member on that board. I don't know if that's still the way it is today.
I can't.
However, there was no restriction for anybody that served on other police forces. So that was something that was being discussed, and I hadn't seen anything then further that came down. So I was just wondering if there was that was still, so any of the rules or regulations applying to that would be of great importance.
Yeah, the one thing, Councillor Plavinsky, like we did approve the terms of reference at the meeting, and that is a public information in that, right? So
Well,
absolutely.
maybe, if I may interject, it may be public information, but I don't have that.
Okay, well,
So I would appreciate making a decision.
we will get a copy for everyone and all that. One thing too is the Sandra Barr, who is the kind of the secretary there. She is going to also bring in a report, and once that report is written up, it is going to be brought to this council. And so maybe in the next meeting, I may have the terms of reference and everything, a report from the meeting that we had. And every meeting we're going to bring something to this table.
No, I totally understand that, and I think I appreciate it. However, you're making decisions now based on that directive from the Ontario government. It must be a document, not just a little email. There must be something. There was a lot of documentation. That's what I'm getting at. You know, I've got a file like this. So all of a sudden they're no longer communicating with documents. I find that staggering. That would be.
But there will be documents, like I said, in the report and that. So, Madam CEO, you've got some
Yes, through the chair. So just to not lose sight of it, I do have a motion that council approve that Councillor Poplinski be appointed as the alternate to sit on the police board, and that the necessary training be completed.
Okay, need a mover? Councillor Sobolski, seconded by Councillor Micah. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Micah. That is passed. And Councillor Poplinski?
Yeah, and thank you. I will accept. And if there's any information that comes down that you are privy to, I would, as co-chairman or filling in chairman or whatever you want to call it, I'd be happy if you'd appraise me of that.
We are going to connect you with Sandra Barr. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I just wanted, because I'm kind of going back to some, so, because I think your original question was, so there's a member from each of the 6 councils be sitting on that board. There's going to be 1 or 2 provincially appointed. Is it 1 or 2? Do we know?
I don't know if it's 1 or 2. I haven't received like the terms of reference.
Okay, and now you're.
But that's what we're advertising
Okay,
for.
so that's
Right.
what you're
That's what we're
advertising.
advertising for.
I think there's
Okay.
3. I could be wrong.
So,
but yeah.
I mean, pretending I'm not on council, I can
Yes.
apply for that.
Correct.
Okay, I will be interviewed by the 6 board members, each of the representatives. Who's determining who's getting hired?
That
into
is such a good
position?
question. I'll
That's
tell you
what
what.
Ernie was asking.
Yeah, okay. Allow me to find out exactly how that,
And how much is that position paying?
I have no idea.
Okay,
know that.
because that's the one of six you will have to pay. Like,
Yes.
is somebody, are they getting paid, $82,000 a year to sit
Yeah,
on that
I'm
board?
assuming there's a
Or are they
standard
getting
that's been
$100 a
set.
meeting to go, and it's like a quasi, it's an honorarium and a volunteer kind of a role.
Yeah.
I think that's important to know.
absolutely
speak
very,
about
very
that?
important.
Did they speak about that at that meeting?
Not about, any kind of money and all that. The one thing they did talk about is we're gonna talk about budget on the next meeting and stuff like that. So this could be part of that discussion,
Okay,
right?
so can you make notes on those specific questions? So
Mm-hmm.
what's the final number of the amount of people that are sitting on the board? Because if the final number is 10, that means 6 of those 10 are elected representatives from each of the municipalities.
Correct.
That have to fund a budget. So who are these other people, right? And of these other people, what you're putting in the ad to hire somebody, who do they report to? I mean, if it's a hiring position, are they just getting money and they report to no one and they can do whatever they want? Like, what's the hierarchy? Is the board the hierarchy?
Yeah.
And if they are being paid a salary, what is their job description?
Yeah.
Like, do they have, or are they just there, like I said, with a small honorarium for, pay for your gas and you're almost a volunteer?
Okay.
Like, it's very, you know what I mean? I think that's the important things, because if they're, I won't even get into it, but I think it's very important.
Exactly. Well, we're gonna find this out, and you got all the information down?
I just
and,
sent an email to Sandra.
Okay, thank you very much. Other than that, I think everything else is good, and yeah, I don't think I have anything else to report, so we'll move on. Any question?
Sorry,
Go ahead.
My fear here is that I don't want to be seeing, all of a sudden, here we go again with downloading. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Whether we have to share the cost between 6 municipalities or not. We know what policing bill we got last year here.
Mm-hmm.
And the fuss all over the province of Ontario that put pressure on Queen's Park to repeal some of them costs. Again, here we go sneaking in the back door. Oh, year one budget is, you only have to pay $3,000. Well, 3 goes real fast to 30, to 300. Because that's,
Yeah, I'm hoping that this committee is about being a good liaison between the municipalities and the police force. Now, if there's any issues from this table, it's my job to go and bring it to the table. Yes, Councillor Popinski.
Yes, David, so I go right back to what is it gonna cost? I know it's gonna cost us money. And it will be a budget item come budget time. However, we've spent a lot of money in the last little while. And I'm very concerned about how we're going to balance everything and not raise the taxes.
Right.
And beyond the cost of living. And this is one more item. So if we don't have the information up front, you're agreeing to something that you don't have, you don't know what the rules are. I would never want to get into a game like that.
Right.
Because we're playing with taxpayers' money. So I want to know how many people are going to be appointed and if we have to subsidize the Ontario government for their appointee, which we do, and then pay the one from here, okay?
Yep.
Could cost us a little bit of money. So let's find out. It hurts, it costs nothing to ask for it. And I know they were very, very good about sending information out. So not to have anything now is I'm flabbergasted.
Right, Madam CEO.
So just for clarity, I want to go back to, we were legislated last year and we had to send in what our proposal was. The proposal was that these 6 municipalities get together to form this
Right.
board. That's been decided. That was agreed upon. Where they are right now is just setting up the terms of reference and the budget and bringing that information forward. And as
Yep.
as Mayor Schulis just expressed, as soon as that report comes, because they just had the meeting, so as soon as there's a report,
But
then it will come back to
how
Sandra.
could you
Yep.
advertise for people to be on the board when we don't know the rules and regulations?
Yes, and actually, like, that will be outlined in there. I will get that information to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
prior to advertising and prior to hiring or appointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, we've set the foundation, and we all agreed at the table here that we want to be part of this. We are now part of this, and I think once the report comes in, that everybody's going to know what's going on. And again, there's going to be a lot of discussion in the November meeting, and
Okay.
that's when everything is going to start rolling in.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Very
And again, for clarity, just want to add, this is not this board that uniquely decided, let's add a provincial member. Every board shall have, and it will say how many.
Totally
And that's what
understand.
we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that sounds good.
But we
Just
do
thank
have
you.
a say over
Yeah.
the person we appoint from here.
Here's something too, Councillor Poplinski, is that the meeting is public. Anybody can come out to these meetings. And maybe the meeting in November, maybe you can come with me. Would that be,
I would be more than happy.
and then, yeah, no.
I've been
and
to
if-
those meetings. I know exactly what happens. But
Yep.
when you open something up, we have people come to do presentations, and we don't get to pick who that person is. They come here and do this. We have to be very cautious because every decision we make could cost us a lot of time and aggravation. So we have to do that. And I know that you're aware of that. So
Yeah.
I just mentioned it again because it was staggering when this was first presented, I think, to the public or to the people that were involved. Some of the recommendations that were being made, knowing what was happening in Ottawa and places like that. To have 21 delegations from people that are,
Yeah.
going to fight us what we're trying to do. So.
Yeah, the first thing, Councillor Polinsky, get in the training and stuff get all that together. And then from there, you have every right to be at that meeting, more rights than just a public, right? You will be then in the acting role if I can't make it.
Yeah,
but
and
it'd be nice if we were both together at that same
what
meeting.
I would like to see is a report come back to council then after every meeting. And
It will, yes, absolutely. So, anyway, it always takes time to get a report in from staff, so just let's be patient, but it'll come to this table. Okay, I think we've hashed this up pretty good, and we are going to continue.
Make a motion for recess for 5 minutes.
Okay, we're going to motion to recess. Motion. I'll make the motion.
Great.
Seconded by Councillor Micah. And
Mary.
okay, it looks like everybody's seconded. All in favor? Okay, and we are going to come back at let's say 25-2. Would that be good?
up until recently, they
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we're good to go. We're back, and this is going to be under consent agenda. We did pull one. I think it was 12.3, and it's concerns about water level on Wadsworth Lake. We got. Oh, sorry. We do have to do a resolution here, and the resolution supporting the. This is under 12.1, a resolution to support the Nature Foundation, resolution for consideration, Nature Foundation. So, well, not a resolution though, right? So we this was just approving that we send the letter in that area. So we need a mover then, right, for that resolution. Okay, moved by Councillor Blank, seconded by Councillor Micah. All in favor? Okay, very good. Now, under consent items, like I said, 12.3, there's a concern of water levels at Wadsworth Lake. Now, I see that the staff does not recommend the study because that's kind of what they're asking. The drought conditions this year are reported throughout Ontario. So maybe what I'll have is, Madam CEO, if you could give us a little report on this. Thank you.
Well, if I may, I'd like to refer to the operations supervisor. We were going to speak about similar drought situations. I believe you referred to Wilno Park.
Through you, Chair. So yes, it is doubtful season. Doubtful season.
Yeah,
So
sounds good.
it's everywhere. I don't see anything that's of significant value what they speak of. Like when they mentioned 66 millimeters lower, well, that equates to 6.6 centimeters if you want. They use the big number because it's the millimeters. But when you transcribe that to inches, the culvert was put in 2 to 2.5 inches lower. That's not the straw that's breaking the camel's back here.
No.
Somebody should get a medal if they can plant a new structure like that to 2 inches. I'll tell you that right now. So the county did not err here, from what I see in my opinion. If they can plant a culvert within 2 inches, 2.5, that's not what is causing this drought. I would say it's Mother Nature, from what I see out there. The Wilno Creek is dry. You can't even water the flowers at the Heritage Park. You can, but you have to dig for the water.
Yeah, no, I think the water level just about everywhere and stuff
It's
like
everywhere.
that, right? It's not just this lake.
Yeah.
It's a lot of lakes.
Of course, Kami is fed by Bark Lake, big tributary out in Algonquin Park, lots of inflow. So it's relatively stable. But everywhere I look, I drive along, every little beaver pond, the beavers are carrying water into the pond.
Our Canadian icon is drawing water. Now, isn't that something?
Yeah. So
Anyway,
that's
I
what
don't
I
know if
see here.
anybody has any, I don't know, just some kind of comment, Councillor Poplinski?
Yeah, Hillary, you mentioned or Kaministkeg. There's a lot of water in Kaministkeg. How about Bark Lake?
It's. I haven't driven into there, but it's holding, I believe. Has
Is
anybody
it
driven
down
by there?
considerably this time of the year?
No.
No? Okay,
Okay.
okay. So it's my question, first of all, was Joe and I have just come into this, Councillor Cebulski, and sort of at the tail end of this whole discussion, because this has been going on for a few years, a couple of years anyway, and the suggestion of having the M&R involved. Is there someone in your knowledge that's responsible for, we talked recently about the beaver dams and the destruction that is happening, and is there someone that's in charge that we know of, that we've had conversation with them, who's monitoring any of this stuff, what's happening with the water?
Well, I believe you would have to, what they're asking for is a hydrological study. I presume it would cost quite a bit, and they want the council to petition the county to proceed to a hydrological study. But I would presume something like that, you would do drone flights on the tributaries up. You might find a beaver pond somewhere up the creek somewhere, but I don't know how that would help in hindsight if you did find a beaver dam or pond. I don't think it would fill up Wadsworth Lake. That's a big, huge lake. So water is not coming in. That's the problem.
That would be one of the things I would expect, that if there was someone in charge, I don't think we should do a study, that's for sure. That's costs a lot of money. However, there should be somebody, just go and do something on that land, and you'll find out that somebody will chase you off. There'll be a minister of somewhere. So they seem to have a lot of power, but when there's a responsibility to look after this, they're hard to find. At least you might be of some help in finding some people that should. We know we have people that deal with you mentioned the Madawaska. I've been on the tour, which has gone down 4 or 5 of the dams, and right down, there's people, very qualified people, that give you your card. They say, if there's issues, give me a call. But this is another issue which it is quite disturbing, because if it was our land, we'd be very concerned. I know I would. Now, the one suggestion that the water coming down through the Crooked Slide Park, and I know this from experience, in July and August, there's very little water coming down there. Matter of fact, I've seen it bone dry, okay, at times. I was there the last week or so, and I was over there 2 weeks ago, and just went in there to visit, to check on things, and there was a lot of water coming down, which surprised me. So then when I saw this report, or the request from the Cottage Association to do something about it, I checked it again the other day, and I same thing. So is there a correlation? What is the like you said, there could be beaver dams above that's feeding into Wadsworth that are restricting the water, and that could happen. Well, all of a sudden you're going to have it blow, and it's going to take out half of the village. It's going to take out, you know what I'm saying? Like, so who's doing that? Is the Ministry of Natural Resources willing to share any information? Or
Well, the upstream creeks, there is no actual river that goes into Wadsworth that I'm aware of. It would be all on private land.
yeah,
Like it snakes out it feeds in from Pekarski Lake, I believe, that way. And also, whatever you see at Crooked Slide Park going over the chute, it's fed from Dam Lake also.
okay, yes.
You know, that's a large lake. And I believe with Wadsworth Lake, you have very shallow shoreline. You know, you have to go out a long distance before it gets deep. So when it goes down a foot, you see a lot of shoreline. Because, you know, it recedes and it looks like it's way out. So there's a lot of beach.
How is the water level in Dam Lake?
I believe static somewhat. Like, but it has higher banks, so you don't really notice when it goes down a foot. It doesn't recede in the shoreline. You know what I'm saying? As much. It's not as noticeable.
So
Yeah. When you have a beach or something, you can see it going down, sort of thing. Where in Dam Lake, you have all this higher ground, right? So you don't see it that much.
So
But Councillor Popinski, go ahead.
Yeah, if I could just, one more thing. With the new culvert that was put in, is there any sort of mechanism or any sort of baffle or something that could, if that was the issue, okay, and I think it's part of the issue. I don't know what sort of role it plays in terms of overall. I think it's part of the issue because it only stands to reason. There's going to be more water coming out, okay? I don't think you need an engineering degree to figure that one out. However, is there some system? I know if it was a smaller culvert, you could probably put some sort of obstruction of some sort in order to slow down the water. Would that be something that could be suggested on a short-term basis to see what happens?
I would highly suggest against that because you'd have the agencies coming at you. So it would affect, if you blocked it off completely, it would affect the little...
No, I'm not suggesting you block it off completely. I'm talking about restricting the flow.
Pretend you put a 6x6 in front of the culvert, it would raise Wadsworth up 6 inches.
Yeah.
So you're gonna dry up that little lake below it,
No.
and then nothing coming out
not
down the
out.
creek. So then you're impacting fisheries and everything there.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so,
That
Try,
don't
spec-
Yeah, just
feel like
hold on,
getting
hold on.
anywhere.
Can I?
okay, so Councillor Micah, we'll get input from Councillor Micah
Okay,
and then
so-
Councillor Blank.
Here's what I'm suggesting. I certainly would never support us getting involved in managing water levels on any body of water, whether they're up or down. That is not our jurisdiction. It's way above us. But M&R does play a role in this. M&R has a control dam on Halfway Lake. So M&R is involved to well, they are involved, period. This is their jurisdiction. So here's what I am suggesting. And so we've clarified the fact that the culvert went in, the culvert is not our culvert, correct? Okay, so again, not our level of government, and we've got enough, we're not getting involved in other levels of government. But what we can do is facilitate things. I would strongly suggest that we send a letter to the M&R, to the county, that's number one. They put the culvert in, it's their responsibility. Number two, Ministry of Natural Resources Office in Pembroke, and request I don't know whoever in their office to come down, and they need to have a look at what's going on with the water levels there. Beyond, if what they're saying comes back, that this is natural due to natural drought conditions, well, then that's what they're saying. But they need to investigate, where's the source of water coming into Wadsworth Lake? Because I know there's a small control dam on Halfway Lake. I know that for a fact. Or Long Lake, sorry. I'm getting the lakes all mixed up, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
Does that impact flow into there? Where's the flow? Where is the flow coming from into Wadsworth Lake? There might be multiple sources. They need to investigate that. They know that. They've got everything mapped. They know everything. So it is their responsibility. We as a council should pass a resolution right here now directing and requesting the Ministry of Natural Resources in Pembroke to go and take a look at this, investigate it, and get us some information back. Because it is not our jurisdiction.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, as long as there's no cost to us.
Well, that's
Councillor
what I'm
Blank.
saying. It's
Thank
not
you.
our jurisdiction.
Thank you, to the Mayor. Thank you for the information. Regarding this letter is requesting what? The letter from them is requesting one simple thing,
Yeah, a study.
okay? A study. We at council say, no, we don't need that study. All the added stuff is fine. Mother Nature's in charge, okay? But the county has also responded, have they not? Saying,
yes.
yes, saying, and I quote September 27th, County Manager of Infrastructure Taylor Henrith responded, stating the new culvert was slightly larger and within 2 centimeters elevation of the old, and that these changes were considered negligible. So there's no reason to spend any extra time and effort on it. We have to wait. We haven't had, it's been 7 weeks or 8 weeks since we've had a decent rainfall. I think we're jumping the gun a little bit too much. I think we need to sit back and wait. Now, apparently this winter we're supposed to get a heck of a lot of snow. Okay, so I think that some of this stuff is good to discuss, but I think we have to let things lie. If the county says no, and then if the county said, yes, we're going to do it, how do they proceed? Do they vote on it down at county level and require more votes than us? So what's the decision made there? Like, we're stuck in the middle of nothing. The people that live on the lake, and I know many of them in many of the lakes, they're not worried about the water. They know we've had a drought. They know this is going on, and it's going to take time to fix. So I don't think we need to put a whole bunch of extra stuff into this. I think if they have applied to the county again to say, do this study, that's up to the county to respond. I will not support doing it because I don't think we need to spend anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40,000 or a lot of time on it. So that's my
Couldn't agree with
opinion.
more, Mary
Thank you.
Ann. Not in support. We're not doing that. There's 500 lakes here. We're not getting involved in that.
Okay.
But I will say to go to the M&R office in Pembroke, and there's no reason that they can't have a look to see if there's something restricting the flow of water beyond what's happening with the drought. That's their jurisdiction.
But is it our job or is it the
No.
Cottagers Association?
Well, they've sent, we could follow up by direction from council to please look at it.
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to go to Councillor Zabowski, but I'm going to go to this document after. and point something out. So, Councillor Sabulski.
I agree with Councillor Blank 100%. And if you live beside a water body, you will notice this year there was marked evaporation from that body of water. And the other thing about Wadsworth Lake is, especially the beach area, you can walk out hundreds of feet. And Mr. Kuchkowski alluded to that. And the water level dropping 6 inches, you know, you'll have 10, 15 feet of bare beach. I've been there. But, when my kids are here, they were there last week. It's no problem for them. They think it's great. There's more beach to walk on. But if the county wants to do a study, that's fine.
Okay. One thing is, thank you, Councillor Zabowski. The one thing we have to make sure that we've got this correct. It is one person that is asking for this, no association. The way I'm saying it looks like, yeah, just one person, Tony Yashinsky. Now, what Mr. Yashinsky has done, he has CC'd a lot of people here. And when you're looking at line number 2, the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, I don't think, like I said, all of these people can respond. Not our jurisdiction. We really don't have to do any responding here. County, that's up to them. But really, the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, they have been notified. I don't think we have to do anything. That's just my point of view.
I was only suggesting it to send an email,
Oh, yeah.
not spend money, not utilize
Yeah.
staff time other than beyond a couple of minute email just to say, send somebody to look. But again, I go back to what I stated in the beginning. We cannot be getting involved
Correct.
in levels of government that are not our jurisdiction.
Exactly.
We got our hands full and can barely handle what we're supposed to be doing, let alone getting involved in all
Yeah.
these other areas that have nothing to do with us.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Councillor Micah, and I think consensus are here, this is not our jurisdiction. And does anybody agree that we could send a little note to the ministry or,
5 minutes.
because it doesn't hurt, Councillor Blank.
Thank you. No, I think it's, once they receive their letter, they follow their directions as to how they respond and what they decide to do. So if they decide, yeah, we're going to send somebody down from the ministry to have a look at the lakes down there to see, that's their thing. I think it's something we stay away from, because we're not going to start directing all the different ministries how to do things in our area. I think this is directed to them, and they have a contingency plan, I'm sure, as to when they get complaints, how they are investigated. So I think maybe just a simple saying, we received to the Ministry of Natural, we received the same, letter from
No
an
concern.
individual, and could you please let us know what your actions will be?
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it, nothing else.
Exactly, because really, like everybody's carbon copied on this whole thing, and only certain amount of agencies are affected here, and they need to respond. Let's give them a little nudge. Is everybody okay with that? Little nudge? Yes, okay. Sounds good. So there's the direction.
If I
You got
may.
anything to add?
If I may, through the chair, so I have received an IMFIPA request, which was filed and accepted yesterday on this matter, so I will provide any documentation that we have relevant to this subject matter. I circulated staff yesterday to see if there's any responsive records. Sometimes there's no responsive records to the requests. Following conversation, just to ensure that I understand the summary of what council is looking for, in my minutes, it would state that staff does not recommend a study at this time and supports the County of Renfrew recommendations and spoke to the drought conditions this year that are reported throughout Ontario. As the infrastructure is under the oversight of the County of Renfrew, municipal staff recommend council request that the operations manager contact the MNRF to advise of the request received, and that we would appreciate being copied on responses, specifically if they have an assessment of the oncoming flows to Wadsworth. Council supports the County of Renfrew recommendations at this time, as they have offered us in their review of the culvert installation.
that should take care of everything. Do we have to move a motion on this? This is kind of bring direction,
No,
right?
through the chair, this will just form part of our minutes that I can forward to the County of Renfrew. It's direction for Hillary to ensure he communicates with MNRF that we are forwarding the concerns from Mr. Jasinski. And during this meeting, I was copied on an email that was sent to MNRF. And the content of that request to MNRF is far wider than just the culvert. It includes a review of the new culvert that was installed on Hopefield Road, a review of the salt that may generate to the lake, as well as a review of species review.
Okay, very good. I think Councilor Blank.
Thank you. Just want to question the Amphipa thing. Okay, so how long will that process take, and what will it cost the municipality to spend time dealing with that document when it really is not our cup of tea?
Through the chair, the Amphipa request is more so they've paid the $5. I have the scope of the documents they've requested. I've sent the email to staff yesterday. They will reply, yes, I think I have information that meets that criteria, or I don't, and then I reply accordingly, so it may take a couple of hours. If there's anything that needs to be photocopied, once I receive back from staff, yes, I think I have something, they give me an estimate of time. I think it'll take me an hour of search time, or it'll take me half an hour to compile this. I send out an invoice to the requester saying that it would be $17.50 per every 15 minutes that staff have told me that they will look at that, and then they pay the fee, and then I have 15 days to reply.
Thank you. Just one follow-up question, Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Has the County of Renfrew received an Amphipa request?
Through the chair, yes, they have received one as well.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Micah.
I was going to say, because we're not doing the county's job for them.
No.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, I think we've covered everything. Thank you. Very good. Good discussion here. We'll move on to the next business here, and that is bylaws. Okay, 13.1, found on pages 99 and 100. Bylaw 2025-68, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2006-26 as amended of the Township of Madawaska Valley, pending PDF. I guess a mover. Mover is Councilor Blank. Seconder, Councilor Micah. Any discussions on this one? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, that is passed. Yeah. Now, here's a good and interesting one here. Okay, bylaw 2025-69 being a bylaw to rescind and replace bylaw 2021-85 being a bylaw to regulate swimming pools and enclosures. Found on pages 101 and 102. Could we have a mover and a seconder, and then we can have some discussion? Moved by Councilor Blank and moved by Councilor Poplinski. Now, discussion on this one. Madam CEO, will
If
start
I
this.
may, just through the chair, this was brought forward from the department just as a housekeeping item. It's removing old references to previous years of schedule of fees. So Calvin just went in and generalized the references to the schedule of fees, saying based on the annual schedule of fees. Having said that, at a recent staff meeting, it was brought forward that staff would like to have a look at this pool enclosure bylaw and come back with a report if we feel that this is still a necessary bylaw that we have on our books, how it applies to the building code. Maybe most of this is applicable through the building code and we don't need a separate bylaw, but staff will come forward with a report on that. But for the purpose of today, we would just like it approved to address those housekeeping items.
Okay, sounds good. We have a mover and a seconder. Now is discussion. Councillor Micah. Oh, you, okay. Okay, okay, all in favor? That is passed. Okay, so here we go. Bylaw 2025-70. This is found on page 103 to 124, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement between Automotive Materials Stewardship and the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley. I need a mover. Mover by Councillor Sobolski, seconded by Councillor Micah. Now, discussion. Yes, Councillor Micah?
Just because Hillary's in the room, is this the separate arrangements we have at the transfer stations in Bark Lake to take through Joe Hall? I don't know if I have the right names.
No, this is through our hazardous waste day events.
Oh, for hazardous waste day.
We
Okay.
get for antifreeze and
Yes.
oil.
Okay.
Every little bit helps. We
Okay.
count pennies here.
Oh,
So even if we
Well, I know you do, Hillary.
$200 out of the deal.
No,
Because
that's
there's
good.
quite a bit of antifreeze that comes through the
Okay,
system.
no, I just wanted to make sure, because
Yeah.
we had discussed having the little mini things set up at the transfer stations.
And that's a separate thing. That's parts from autumn.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, the next one, 13.4, found on pages 125 to 129. Bylaw 2025-71 being a bylaw to rescind and replace bylaw 2016-70 relating to the use, protection, and regulation of public parks, municipal lands, and recreation area under the jurisdiction of the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Blank moves it, Councillor Poplinski seconds it. Discussion.
Just a
Yeah,
comment,
to
I think
the-
it's adding the additional,
Yep.
which we have, of course, in our records here. Yep, that's fine, thank you.
Anything else? Hearing and seeing none here, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, next one here is 13.5, Just a second here. Okay, so. Pages 5. Now, bylaw 2025-72 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a development agreement, is that where we are?
Yes.
Yep, okay. And I need a mover and a
That's through the
seconder.
chair, if I may, before they
Oh,
move
just
this.
wait, Madam CEO.
Just because we have two development agreements on the table, this one is Shalubinski, which is the one across from Wadsworth Lake.
Oh, okay. Right, so everybody knows about that. Okay, need a motion. Councillor Micah makes a motion, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Any discussion on this? Go ahead, Councillor Micah.
And again, because Hillary's in the room, you were very instrumental, Hillary. This has been a long process with these lots across from Wadsworth Lake. You've read this?
I've read that numerous times.
I figured you had, but now that we're passing it, I just want to make sure you've read this version of it and you're pleased and happy and
I'm very pleased.
okay, and they've fulfilled all of the conditions that we have discussed.
Correct, yeah.
So everything's good.
The road, everything.
Well done.
It was
Excellent
long
work
ago.
on that,
3
Hillary.
years I worked on this.
Yeah,
That was very good job of what you did there.
exactly. I mean, it has been a long time, but we did it correct because it's very, very important.
Slow
Absolutely.
and patience.
Exactly, so.
If you hadn't caught that, that could have been a big problem down the road.
Yes.
That's right.
So well done and congratulations.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on this matter? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, that is carried. We have now, under 13.6, found on page 141, 149, bylaw 2025-73, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a development agreement. I need a motion and a second, and then we'll have discussion.
And through the chair, for the purpose of clarification as well, this is for the Davenport reports that you received.
Oh,
last week.
yes, I should have mentioned that. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, I just got a little bit ahead of myself, but we need a motion. Councillor Poplinski moves it, seconded by Councillor Blank. Okay, discussions? Yeah, this is being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a development agreement, Davenport. Seeing none, any discussion on this one? All in favor? That is carried. Okay, being a bylaw to amend the bylaw 2006-26 as amended of the Township of Madawaska Valley. I can't pronounce that.
Tulukter.
What's that?
Tulukter.
That's easy for you to say. Okay, so the bylaw 2025-74 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2006-26 as amended to the Township Madawaska Valley. No, that is so terrible. Sorry. I apologize. Sometimes I just have trouble with names, so my apologies.
And through the chair, this is the one that was brought forward where we had the junior planner speak to bring forward what had been held in abeyance previously, waiting for all conditions to be met.
Okay. So I need a motion. Councillor Blank, Councillor Micah seconds it. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Okay, that is carried. Okay, the final bylaw 13.8 found on pages 153 to 157, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a lease agreement between Trevor Zilney, owner of What the Fudge, carrying on business as What the Fudge, and the Corporation of Township Madawaska Valley with respect to the operation of the canteen at the Paul J. Yakubuski Community Center. So then the bylaw 2025 what the Fudge lease agreement PJYCC canteen. I need a mover, Councillor Blank, seconded by Councillor Sobolski. I think this is good news that we found somebody that can take over, and I don't know if there's any discussion, Councillor
No,
Blank.
I was speaking with him and with Hannah, and he is working really well, diligently towards making it a great thing. So no problems. I think it's great. Thank you.
Perfect. Anybody else? Nobody else? All good news here. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, under new business. I don't know if anybody have new business. I have something I'd like to bring up to the table. We don't need any action or anything like that, but this one here, we do have something in our community that is hidden, and I would like to see it kind of exposed. It was exposed at the railway station, and this is the largest oak leaf. I know it won a Guinness World Record and so on, but anyway, it's at the private home of the people that did find it and so on. I would like to see it somehow displayed somewhere in the community. I think we should feel good about any world record. I know I talked to Hannah about this, and she kind of is in agreement. We need to expose it somewhere. Could it be at the municipal office here? We do have some walls that it could go on, but also maybe a shout out to the community to see if it could be somehow displayed. And I understand when the station keepers took it out of the railway station is part of our history, sort of, but more not about our railway story. So I totally understand and I agree with them. But at the same time, I think I'd like to see it somehow exposed in the community. What's kind of interesting too is I've been fortunate to hitchhike across this country, and of course they Wawa, they've got the biggest goose, and of course they made this all up. I go to Dryden, and yeah, but everybody, even I saw a picture of the Conway family in Wawa, and they're as proud as could be up in front of the big goose, Dryden, the big moose, Max the Moose, I think they call it, and then in Sydney, Nova Scotia, which I'm going to be going in October, I hear there's a big fiddle there, right? All nice and shiny and stuff. So I'm not saying that we should make a big oak leaf, but maybe that's one way of looking at it. But my main thing here is some discussion. Maybe Hannah will bring in a report on this, and just I feel that we shouldn't be hiding something that we actually have a world's record at. Go ahead, Madam CEO.
Through the chair, I was just going to recommend that I can put this on as an action item to Hannah to investigate a few locations, and if there's any location recommended or, reaching out to the community, she can then bring those recommendations forward.
That's all I'm asking. I think we should look into that. I don't know if anybody has any comment. Like I said, it's not about decision time. It's just to get, something maybe. Yes, Councillor Poplinski.
Yeah, I think we could certainly accommodate that. And someplace where people come in here all the time, especially to the front desk to pay their taxes. If there was something, I don't know if there's room, but someplace in the building, I think it would be good.
Yeah, and if not in this building, let's see if the public can find a place that it's a showcase. Councillor Blank.
As long as it's a safe place.
Yes, it does have to be a safe place, and I think this would be really a safe place. I think. So anyway, maybe Councillor Blank, you can work together with Hannah and stuff like that. It's just I just felt like we should pursue it. Okay, so now unfinished business. There is 15.1 found on page 159 to 160. CO update report 2026 municipal election bylaw. So, Madam CEO, it's all yours.
Through the chair, this was, I just added under unfinished business because we were having the delegation, and I had recommended to council that we hold off on, I was to bring the bylaw with the accompanied document showing locations and the requested information council was looking for. So this was just more to show what the resolutions were for the benefit of the delegations that were coming forward, and to state why I had held off bringing the bylaw. So it was just for information for that purpose.
Okay, and this will come into the September, like our first, is that September 4th?
September, it's the Wednesday.
Oh, sorry, 3rd, yeah.
The Wednesday.
Okay, it's Wednesday because of the long weekend and stuff like that. So, okay, thank you very much for the report. We don't have to act on this. It's just something that you're going to be doing.
Before we move on?
Yes, go ahead.
Not on this issue, but under unfinished business.
Unfinished business, okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I actually meant to do, it's current. The letter from sorry, my papers are out of order. Darn it.
Through the chair. So were you
under
speaking about the letter
correspondence.
from
There we go.
Pleasure Point?
No, I'm
Oh,
speaking
sorry.
about the letter from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs. Just don't know which number it is. MMH. It was item 12.11 on page 97.
Okay.
In our correspondence package. I didn't want to pull it out, but what I do want to make sure, though, is that a copy of this letter is given to Andy, to Earl, to Janine, and to JP2G that are acting as our planners, even though I'm sure they should be aware of that, but let's just make sure. And I was being facetious when I'm assuming that the County of Renfrew also will be getting a copy of that letter as well.
Madam CEO.
If I may, through the chair, so the practice has been any correspondence we get from MMH or any of the updates to, build faster planning, legislation changes, I forward to the group. And generally I do ask, is there something that impacts us Madawaska Valley specifically? Do we need to be concerned? How does it impact us? So they do get a copy after it's been gone to council.
Okay, no,
Yes.
I'm just, because I'm glad that letter from the ministry came in, because there has been, and I'm not saying it coming from this office, but there has been some direction from the county level when there were, at the beginning of this term, regarding development agreements, and the county, in order to grant the severance, was dictating to these homeowners what building materials that they had to use to build their homes that had outside, over and above the building code. And or they would not grant the severances. So Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing has made it very clear by this letter to all forms of government, you cannot just come up with your own building materials for whatever reason. It's what the building code states, it's in the letter, read the letter. But anyway, because I thought that was ridiculous, telling somebody what kind of a garage door they had to use. Well, over and above and beyond what the building code said. It was overreach on every level. So I'm glad that was clarified.
Okay, you're gonna take care of that? Okay, sounds good. Any other unfinished business? Seeing none, we'll continue. There is no in-camera session. Confirming bylaw. The recommendation that bylaw 2025-76 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of Corporation of Township of Madawaska Valley at the regular council meeting of August 19, 2025 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 19th day of August 2025. I need a motion. Councillor Poplinski, Councillor Blank seconds it. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. And of course, adjournment, I need a motion and a seconder. Motion by, nobody wants to adjourn. You guys love this. Okay, Councillor Micah, Councillor Blank seconds it. And all in favor? And the meeting is adjourned at what time? 12:15, yeah. This was a much shorter meeting than the last one, but that's what happens when you take a month off, right? So we took care of business at the last meeting, so